Boom! What's up, you fishing freaks? We're back after a long hiatus. The FishPod Network podcast has returned. What's up, everybody? Jay Smith here. We've been on a hiatus for a little while. I got sick. A bunch of people got sick. We had FishPod TV going on. Just a bunch of stuff going on. So we're back. Just had a trip to Miami, and we went down to the Miami International Boat Show and got a bunch of interviews and video from there. A bunch of cool stuff. We'll be showing that on FishPod TV. That's on Thursday at 8 o'clock. We're live every Thursday, FishPod TV, me and Paul Fleming. And but while we were down there, the next day after the boat show, we went out Peacock Bass Fishing with one of Miami's best guides. I'd say he's the best anyway. Hai Truong. I think I'm pronouncing the right way, the last name Truong. He does urban fishing, and man, he hooked us up. Boy, we got out there and got after it right away. And, everybody caught fish, but my angling skills really shone through that day. I mean, I really put it to him. I got a trophy peacock bass on my first try, my first one ever. I even said, I may have ruined it for you. It's going to be hard to top that. So I was pretty happy with the day. It was pretty cool. So we'll have some video from that as well. And so I sat down with Hai, and we talked a little bit about his guide service and how he got into fishing and everything. Hai was a great dude, man. I couldn't, what's so cool about the whole thing is you get out there, you get to these canals and everything, you can kind of scout them out, see if they're out there. They'll be up against the side. So they were pre-spawning. So you can pretty much just look down and see what fish you want. And so we're going along, and I see the one I want. It's a big one, and it's got a little female with it, and they're pre-spawned, so they're kind of just setting up their deal there. Hai explained it all to me now. Pretty much a peacock bass expert now. Now that I went fishing with Hai. So, anyways, they're pre-spawned. The fish, they don't really want to bite too much, so they were coming around and they're like slapping my bait. They would come up and like puff it out of the way or barely take the tail in its mouth and escort it out of its nest. And so I had to keep pulling it away from the small one and dropping it on the head of the big one until he got aggravated enough to grab a hold of it, and then I yoked him out of there like the master angler I am. Anyways, it was really cool to hang out with Hai. And without further ado, please welcome Hai Truong. First off, let me say thanks for having us out here today, man. This was really cool. And we got out after the peacock bass this morning. How long have you been doing this here in Miami? I know you grew up here.
I grew up here, so I've been here going on 3 decades, a little over 3 decades. Started guiding, coming on my 6th year now. So it mostly came out of popular demand, or public demand, I should say, on social media.
Yeah.
And that was 6 years ago, so here we are today, man.
Did that get fed off of the social media? Is that what really got you started?
Yeah, pretty much. I was just posting pictures, fishing on my own time, on the weekends or whenever I had some time off, just like any other angler or fisherman. And soon enough, I started getting private messages, emails, asking if I guide.
Yeah, that's how we found you. Really, was people were talking about you, went and looked at social media, and we're like, yeah, that's the guy. Man, we got tucked in.
But, yeah, so I kind of have to pay a tribute back to social media in a big way. I mean, you can't beat free marketing.
Yeah, I know, right? So what got you really into fishing? I mean, were you fishing when you were a kid? Was it a family thing?
My father kind of showed me the ropes, fishing for largemouth bass, but your simple rig with Texas rig worm, little bullet head sinker, you targeted from there, and he kind of worked a lot back then. So I kind of just self-taught everything else from there on, and naturally, it's just something I fell in love with. And you're in the outdoors, you're doing what you love, you're catching all these variety of different fish that we have down here in South Florida. So there's never a shortage of different fish that you can target, different ways you can target it, different platforms. So it's just I love things that have infinite amount of strategies to them.
Yeah, and what I liked about the day today, one, you're really good at explaining everything, and not only are you explaining how to catch the fish, you're explaining why that fish is there. You gave us a lot of information. This is my first time really freshwater fishing. I mean, when I was a kid, I caught bluegills and the standard kid stuff.
Yeah.
My first time actually targeting like bass and all that kind of stuff. And to catch the fish that I caught today, was great. I mean, how big do you think that fish was?
Oh man, that's just under state record. I want to say it's unofficially probably between low end 7.5 to on the high end 8.5. State record's just over 9. It's definitely a trophy sized fish for your first.
Yeah,
I kind of ruined peacock fishing for you, but that makes it even fun.
Second fish of the day.
Yeah,
it was the second fish of the day, and honestly, it was pretty cool because you got to pick and choose kind of what you wanted.
Yeah,
there was that littler one trying to come after. I just yoke it from him and send it over there. And
that's the really cool thing about sight fishing. That's a really cool thing about sight fishing. So not only can you kind of pick and choose which one you want to target for, but like I was explaining on the process of spawn.
Right.
So I don't target them when they have eggs or even fry, so it greatly reduces the fry survival. So this way you're more in tune with the fish, and you're preserving them better.
Sure.
So I mean, it's great to have catch and release nowadays, but if you're cutting them off from the beginning, what's the point?
That's it. I was asking about that, and you explained that, why you don't pressure them and all that, and I thought that was great. And so is peacock bass? That's an invasive species, right?
Well, no, they're classified under invasive. I don't like to use that term. I like to use the non-natives. They were actually brought in by the state of Florida in 1984 to help control or eradicate the other non-natives. It's actually the only known project of its kind in the whole world of introduction of a foreign species to help control or eradicate another one that's been successful.
That actually worked without backfiring, right?
I mean, in 84, we're coming on a little over 30 years now, so we're coming on a multi-billion-dollar project just focusing on peacock bass in this fishery alone.
Man, and in the end, it actually ended up creating a whole industry around it, right?
It did. It's been a blessing. You have a lot of old school guys that kind of have their pros and cons, saying that it's affecting largemouth bass. Some are saying it's affecting the snakeheads a little bit north of us. And all the guys that I talk to that fish as often as I do, saying they're all coexisting just fine. They all feed off of each other's fry. So if anything, it's causing more bait source.
Yeah.
I don't see any sign that it's harming it at all. Not anything bad at all. If anything, it's making it better.
That's awesome. So real quick then, let's go over a couple of the ways, the easier ways to target peacock bass and what kind of gear you want to use. It seemed like we used a lighter setup today, which made it a lot of fun.
Right, lighter setups are more for the challenge. I guess it all depends on your experience level, but in general, anybody, regardless of your experience level, can go and grab basically any rod. You want to kind of keep it lighter so you're not just yoking the fish out. It's not like saltwater.
Rip its lips off.
Yeah, you want to use either a freshwater setup or a light inshore setup. I like using light inshore setups, me personally, because I live in South Florida in Miami, and I fish Key Biscayne, Florida Bay, the Flamingo, you have Chokoloskee and the Everglades. So I do a lot of inshore fishing, and instead of having a freshwater setup and a saltwater setup, I just use everything for my light setups.
So more diverse. And
and I'm tired of peacocks breaking my freshwater.
Yeah, I bet. So I've gone through a few the way that thing grabbed a hold and ran with that, I could see how that would be an issue. That's, So on that rig, what's the rig generally that
the general setup, so to keep it really basic, I would go out with at least 2 rods, one with artificial and one for live bait. That way you're situationally ready for almost any situation. For lures, I would go with, my favorites are suspending jerk baits, anything that's going to be in about a 3-inch. Colors, I'm not really too key on colors. I focus more on shade, so either you have a light colored or a darker colored.
Sure.
Aside from that, color's not too important to me. I try to pick earthy, something that looks realistic. Aside from that, go out with a jerk bait, a little box of lures, and then go to your local bait store and buy a couple dozen shiners, or go to your local park like we're in right now and catch some brims, and just go at it. Go down any canal, any lake that you see, walk 100 yards. If you don't see at least a dozen or so, pick up and go to another spot.
Yeah.
You know, fish move around. They're not gonna. Once good spot's not always gonna be a good spot.
Right. Well,
so that's the cool thing about fishing and
yeah.
sight fishing is you're more a hunter than a fisherman.
Exactly.
So moving around is part of the fun part, you know.
Yeah, I noticed when we first got there too. You just kind of scouted out. You didn't even have a pole.
Right.
You went out and looked at what was going on first and checked it all out. But,
right. Now to clarify, you know, so people don't get burned, I don't suggest that. My eyes are real keen on, just like any other charter captain or guide that specifically or specializes in one specific species.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a knack for that eye to look for certain things.
We thought everything was a peacock bass when we were looking at it.
Exactly. So a lot of times when you don't have that experience, you're gonna think a lot of things look like a peacock, or fish are gonna fool you. The point I was getting to is what I suggest is always have a rod in your hand.
Okay. Yeah.
But if you don't have the experience level to go back and, because a lot of people get excited and they'll run back to the car.
Right.
And right there when they see you running, either they'll see you or they'll feel the vibrations.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of times when I see them, you know, I'm taking that risk that they're going to be there when they get back. And that all depends on the body language. But to keep it simple, just go out there, walk it, fan cast. If you're using a lure, even if you're focusing on live bait, I still use a lure if you're not seeing anything at first, and that draws them out. It flushes them out.
They're going to at least come check it out, right?
Right. Whether you hook up or not, you know they're there.
Right.
And that's half the battle right there.
Yeah.
I feel if I can see them, I can catch them.
Well, we did today, so that was pretty
Yeah.
awesome. So as far as the rest of the gear goes, what, like a 10-pound line?
Yeah, I don't go. I use braid. Right now, I'm only using Finn's braid. You can use any other braid that you guys are more comfortable with. It doesn't matter what the brand is. As long as it works for you, it's in your budget. People get so caught up on rocking a brand or posting a picture, whether they're sponsored by them or pro staff or not, and people forget, dude, go out there, have fun. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, basic setups, man. On rods, I try to stay in the 10-15 pound class, medium light. For spinning rods or spinning reels, I'm sorry, I try to stay on the first two models on the low end of sizes, so like either 1000s to 2500, depending what brand you're using. And like I said, 10-pound braid, 15 to 20-pound floral leader, whatever your favorite lures are.
Really, it's not that much different than what we use for redfish, really.
Same setup I use for my redfish, for my trouts, for my underslots, snooks. If you want the challenge, you can use even a lighter line. For my personal fishing, I try to use anywhere from 6 to 12-pound mono leader, but with clients, I use a 20-pound because they don't have the experience to control them as much as I would be able to.
Yeah.
And more so, a lot of the canals, you're like anywhere from 6 to 10 feet above the water line, so sometimes you need to swing them in.
Sure.
So,
do you like that for the stretch, or what is it about the mono you like better?
Well, it's not so much the mono, it's the fluorocarbon. I don't use mono too much these days. My personal fishing, maybe, for my top water plugs, because mono's more buoyant than fluorocarbon.
Right.
I like using fluorocarbon because it's virtually clear. So with the braided line, you know, you're gonna have that line in the background. Like if you tie directly, you would always see that direct connection.
Right.
And I think that messes with them, especially down in South Florida when we have really clear water.
Yeah, you can see everything.
Yeah, and when you start traveling towards Central Florida up, freshwater or inshore, when you start getting to those dirtier, muddier waters, you can get away with a shorter leader, or sometimes not even a leader at all, but not down here.
Yeah.
You want to use a fluorocarbon leader.
Well, it definitely made it a lot of fun, because that's what I do in the saltwater a lot. I'll use a smaller rig. You know, some guys are like, "You're not going to bring them in with that." I'm like, "Watch me, buddy. It's going to happen, man. I know how to do this." So.
Once you get a few under your belt, you want more of a challenge, switch up to an ultralight. Get a 10-foot, or not a 10-foot, a 10-pound rod that's maybe 6'6" with a 1,000 reel and 4 to 5 pound braid with maybe 10-pound leader, and you're gonna have a permagrin from the time you hook up to the time you lose it.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what it's all about to me.
Right. Notice I said lose it because not always you're gonna land those big ones, but they're gonna be fun.
I want that chance to happen. Honestly, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
More of a challenge.
Absolutely.
And everything, like you said. Like when we're getting after the redfish, and that it kind of was similar to that in a way. I mean, granted, we're fishing canals and walking, but it's the same way with stalking the flats for reds and everything. You're kind of sight casting for them.
Same exact way. There's not much of a difference. Sorry,
that's all right, buddy. Everybody does it.
It's not much of a difference. Like you're saying, stalking them on the flats or inshore. The visual's the same. The technique.
You almost
is the
get
same.
to pick and choose.
You get to pick and choose. You actually have more of a luxury than on the flats.
Yeah.
By the time you decide on the flats, they're gone.
Yeah, you better make that decision like that real quick. Yeah, exactly.
And you know, the one you pick is always the one that eats.
So do you do most of your words Words. All your guiding. Do you most of it from land, or do you go out on the boat a lot and chase after them?
Yeah, I actually own 2 boats. 100% of the guiding is on foot. I feel you have a greater advantage. You're more stealthier. Obviously, in war, when you're have a height advantage, you have a greater advantage for sight. The pros and cons of that, the fish can see you too.
Yeah.
So you have to be a little creeping up. I'm shorter than the average guy, so I really don't have to duck down too much. But as far as the stealthy goes, when you're in a boat, you have to kill your motor after a certain point. So you're displacing water. Then you have your trolling motor, you're displacing vibration.
Sure.
And the people moving on it. You're almost on water level, so you don't have that height advantage. By the time you're on top of them, in some of the spots you notice we were closer to the water, and we walked up right on top of them, like the smaller ones they were shooting out.
Yep.
So sometimes, because we don't see them, you're spooking them.
Right.
So now if you're on land, you have that height advantage. You always have that distance, and you control it. Sometimes on a boat, you don't really have the brakes that you want.
Yeah.
So to me, it's night and day. The advantages you have, but then again, boats are fun too.
Yeah.
If you've never been through our canal systems in Miami, it's definitely there's no shortage of things to see between the wildlife, the birds, and the reptiles. Not even to mention the fishing.
Yeah, we were just walking up here. There's iguanas running off everywhere.
Oh yeah, you guys want to get some iguanas? We'll go on the other side of the lake, man. There's some big ones.
Yeah, there was a big one right here.
Yeah, they're all over the place. You guys come back down here during spring and summer. That's when they turn bright oranges and reds when they're spawning.
Yeah.
So it's a cool time to be here.
It's super cool, man. I had a great time today, and I'm really glad that you took the time to help us out this morning.
Cool. It was my pleasure, man. I was glad to have you guys.
Right. So what's the best way to follow you on social media?
On social media, you can follow me under Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, or Twitter, and they're all going to be at Hai Truong Fishing.
Okay. And is that the best way to get a hold of you for your guide services?
Actually, the best way to get a hold of me is through the website, which would be at haitruongfishing.com, HAITRUONG. Fishing.com. You can Google it. It should pop up in the first 2-3 pages. The social media is more. I actually have my website designed so there's not many pictures on there. Mm-hmm. So then that allows the possible clients to be more interactive and check out my pages on a more personal level. Yeah. Not so much just posting my best pictures. It's it's nice to have good pictures on your website, but you never know when and where they were caught.
Well, your feed is awesome. I
appreciate it.
If you get the chance, you should definitely follow him on those feeds. Because I sat there and flipped through it for a while.
Thanks, I really appreciate it. It means a lot.
Great stuff on there. And if you get the chance to come down to Miami, folks, you need to look up Hai and go get some peacock bass. He's going to put you on them. He's a great guy, explains it all, and you're going to walk away with more knowledge in the end. So thanks again.
Hey, thank you
Appreciate
guys.
it, Hai.
Cool, man. Good times.
Right. We'll see you in the next one, folks.
All right, well, we had a great time with Hai. I'm looking forward to getting back down there. Hopefully during the summer we can get on the topwater bite for those peacock bass. I think that would be a blast. Things are really vicious. It's kind of like catching a jack almost in the salt water. But you just kind of pick out which one you want and they go after it. Really aggressive. So looking forward to that. Thanks, Hai. In the meantime, make sure you check out FishPod TV every Thursday at 8 o'clock. Me and Paul Fleming, we get some guests in and we talk about fishing, do all kinds of products, all kinds of cool stuff. So don't miss that. It's Thursdays at 8 o'clock. FishPod TV. You can see it on Facebook, YouTube, or our live stream. Make sure, if you have a chance, please go to our YouTube channel, subscribe, and like our videos. That always helps us out a lot. If you like live videos, go to our live stream, livestream.com, and sign up and subscribe for all of our updates. All of our upcoming events will be on there. And it's pretty cool. I mean, there's a lot of free stuff to watch in there. It's a pretty cool website, livestream.com. And, of course, you can always get on Facebook and watch us on Facebook Live. Everything FishPod related is on FishPodNetwork.com. And we will see you in the next one.